Hi folks, this is Madan from Culture Engineers, and today I'm going to, this is like the first session of a parenting mistake series. And first I would like to discuss about, everybody asks me, give me some tips on parenting, tell me how I can bring my child better, how I can make them smart, how I can make them self-sufficient, give them good self-confidence. So these are the different questions, that parents keep asking me. But I would say before we start about parenting, I think it's the first step of parenting is like preparing the field. So parents are like farmers, and preparing the field is like you're preparing the ground to lay the seeds. So your seeds are your children whom you're going to nurture and grow in the environment which you're going to provide. So preparing the field in a sense would mean that parents should first create a very nice loving environment at home, and that loving environment comes from the interactions between the spouses. Like if the spouses are happy and loving and caring, then obviously the field is well prepared for the child to grow. And next comes your parenting skills and techniques which you put on the child, which helps the nurturing of the child. So what is the first step of preparing the field? So first I would like every parent out there, mother, father, to evaluate how is your interaction with your spouse. So first, let's create how me and my spouse can be the happiest and how we can be loving, and what we can do to do that. So to do that, you need to first evaluate your marriage. What is the different aspects of your marriage? Are you both satisfying your needs? Are you understanding what it means to feeling love? Do you love your wife? Do you love your husband? So all those things are very important for preparing the field. So first I would say all the couples out there, first focus on yourself and see how you can be self-sustainably happy. How you don't have to seek for happiness elsewhere other than, within yourself, so that you can actually create a very happy environment for your kids. So what happens when you don't have a loving environment at home? What happens when there is actually a conflict between you and your spouse? So what happens is that when you have a child and when you are consistently in a conflict with your spouse and the children are watching all that, the children tend to believe that they are the reason for the conflict. They start to think that they are responsible for the problems between the mother and the father. They think I'm the reason that my mom and dad are fighting, and they completely take the whole blame on themselves, because children are basically like very self-centered, because as they're growing up they attach everything to themselves. So parents should please be aware of this, that children can take everything personally, like all your problems and all your unhappiness, they will consider it theirs, and they'll think that it's because of them. So it's very important for you to sort your marriage and see how you can create a loving environment for your kids in the first place. அடுத்தது என்ன சொன்னீங்க?
அடுத்தது வந்து இந்த மாதிரி like it will get a feeling that like the couples are meant to be unhappy, and they will have phobia, marriage phobia or chances.
Okay. So the other major problem which it creates among children is that since you are in a very conflicting environment with your husband and wife, children will slowly start, as they grow up, they will slowly start to believe that love doesn't exist, that there is no love in this world, or even they will have problems interacting with different people, and all this anger can be transferred to different people in school or their friends at workplace and different things like that. And what happens eventually is that the children that grow up in conflicting homes, they eventually have very bad romantic relationships. They tend to be very abusive. They are very they tend to be very abusive. They really lack. They start believing that relationships are meant to be abusive and fighting and conflicting, and they slowly start losing hope in finding a partner for themselves, because they believe that my parents never were happy, so I don't think I will also be happy, so I can never get a mate for myself. So this is like the major problem which children believes, that this is the major belief that children take from their parents when they are in a very conflicting environment. So now, so how do we sort this out? So how do we solve this problem? How do we prepare the field? So the preparing the field is is actually very simple. So I would so the next video is about how to prepare the field, and in the preparing the field, we will teach you how to evaluate your marriage and how we can see sort of different aspects of your marriage and see how we can prepare the field for the better nurturing of your child. So another major problem when couples are constantly in conflict with each other, the children have this tendency that since they're taking the whole problem on themselves, they eventually think that they are the reason of the problem, so they just want to leave the house. Sometimes many kids just leave the house, and parents suddenly think like, where's my child? They start searching, they complain to the cops, and all that situations happen where children go missing. So these cases are very typical of homes where there are conflicts, where the parents are fighting with each other and the children take the blame on themselves. But even otherwise, as the children grow up in conflicting homes, once they slowly get financially independent or some sort of a opportunity to leave the house, they will leave. For example, I had a friend, like he lived in a very conflicting house, his parents were always fighting, they had financial issues. And what happened was when he decided, so he was very motivated to study so that he could get into a college which he could leave the city. That was his escape. He just wanted to leave the house because he felt that he couldn't be there. And similarly, he left the house, he went into a college, a good college which was outside the city, where he never had to see their parents. And finally he got a job in the US, and he just decided to be there. He doesn't even visit India often because he just feels like there is no love at home, and why should I visit my parents? And so these kind of mindsets just go into the child's mind when there's a conflict at home. So now let's see how we can analyze your marriage and see how we can fix it before we even get into the basics of parenting. When was the last time you laughed with your partner? When was the last time you did something sweaty and fun and exciting, and where you did some physical activity together? When was the last time you gave each other a hug? When was the last time you held each other's hands? When was the last time when was the last time your partner said thank you to you? When was the last time your husband or wife did something funny and adventurous? When was the last time you tried something new for the first time? So when was the last time you ever complimented your spouse? So hi folks, this is Mother from Culture Engineers, and yes, preparing the field for parenting. So how do couples? So this video is about preparing the field so that you can nurture your child and provide effective parenting for your child. And so, but before preparing the field, to prepare the field, we need to understand that as couples, like how we can create the good field. So basically, to create a good field is basically like you need to make sure you have these 4 happiness chemicals in your brain which are constantly being released. So once these chemicals are released in your brain, you automatically, the field is very fertile for your children to grow. So I'm just going to start off with endorphins, which is like the first happiness chemicals, and see how you can bring this chemical in your relationship with your husband or wife. So start off with, so what do you do for releasing endorphins? So endorphins are basically released when you like laugh and have fun together, right? It's just not fun, like you need to laugh. So do something that can just makes you laugh together. Like you can probably watch a favorite serial or a sitcom, or something funny, a stand-up comedy show together that will make you laugh. Or you can just have basically fun with each other, like just make each other laugh, tease each other, be playful about things, have that happiness with you, and like you don't don't ever take things seriously with your spouse. So that's one way of releasing endorphins. The second way is the physical activity. So it's very important, both partners decide that they are going to release endorphins, like they're going to take control over the happiness. So taking responsibility for the happiness, like that's like the first attitude you develop, and the first step is like, okay, now for how am I going to create endorphins and how am I going to do a physical activity. So you both need to see what kind of physical activity suits both of you, and it's always better that both have a physical activity together, because the more you do things together, the more stronger your bond is going to be. And if you're going to do things together, you can also always include your child in that physical activity. So one of the best physical activities which couples can do together is like some sort of a sport, or like just walking together in a park, like doing fast walking, going for a jog, or maybe even playing sports which are common to each other. So that's like very important, because most couples that come to me and like they say that like the girl says like, I like to play badminton, the boy says he likes to go to the gym and he likes to play cricket and all those things. The thing is that they're getting endorphins, but they're getting it from a different place. They're not getting it from their partner. So if you can create those situations where endorphins are released in that bonding with your partner, it makes your marriage very strong. So just please work on this, and forget like all that separate things, like let me go to the gym. Maybe one of them compromise, says, okay, fine, I'll join you to the gym, and both of you go to the gym and work out and like see and talk to each other and see how you both can achieve your fitness goals, and sweat and have fun together. So that's like one of very important ways to release endorphins, through physical activity and having fun together. That's very important. So, and dopamine is also related to happiness, and that's like a very important chemical which people get by achieving things and achieving tasks. So normally, if you're very happy in your job, you're basically going to have a good level of dopamine. So, but not everybody is happy in their jobs. So if they're not happy in their jobs, obviously that's going to affect your relationship. And that dopamine, which doesn't come from a happy job, needs to be done through your relationship, right? Suppose your husband is in a very monotonous job and he doesn't like his boss, but somehow he's just there for the money and he wants to provide for the family, but still he is dopamine deprived. So when he's dopamine deprived, he needs to get it from somewhere else. So how does one create dopamine? How does one create dopamine in a relationship? So one is like by having common goals, like both of you can decide that, okay, like our goal is like next 6 months we are going to probably go and learn another language together, or we're probably going to build a small farm around our house, and we're going to build trees around our house. Or maybe you both can decide that, okay, we're both together going to go to the gym and decide like, okay, 5 kilos, both of you are together going to, now both of you have decided that you have a common goal and you have to achieve that, okay, 5 kgs, and this is our diet plan. Both of you are going to together, eat good healthy food and make sure that you both are very fit. And during the process of achieving your goals, your monthly goals, your weekly goals, the overall goals, every time you're achieving your goal, you're going to get a hit of dopamine, so you feel like you're achieving something. So this feeling of achievement is very important, because if you lack that, many of us feel very purposeless in this world. So you need to have some purpose, and if you don't have, like if you're just going to work, men or women, whatever, and if you're not really happy with your work, then it's very important that dopamine is created at home. And one of the other ways which dopamine can be released is by praise and by surprises. You can give your partner gifts or whatever, the way, whatever they feel would be nice for them. So that's like complimenting them on their clothes or something they say, being mindful of the things that they do and complimenting them rightly. So that's like a very good way to encourage good behavior among your spouse, and also it releases dopamine in their brains, and it just creates happiness. Okay, one more thing that forget everything, like you don't have anything now. How can I create dopamine? So just imagine that both of you like people who date during before marriage. So what happens, like, right? Suppose with my girlfriend, I just randomly do things. I don't really plan sometimes. I just go and I say, let's take the bike and just go somewhere, and I don't even plan it. So we just randomly go across the streets and we say, okay, how about we eat the ice cream at the roadside, and we just randomly eat some ice cream. We have a small adventure, and then we just decide to go to the beach, and then we do something and we have fun. And this unplanned adventures, the more you have, that's when you have the dopamine. right? So you need to have that state of being playful and being adventurous, right? So the more you have that, it's easier for you to release dopamine, because most of us are really caught up with the struggles of life and the monotony of life, that you need to break through that. You need to do something spontaneous. You just need to just take, like, okay, come on, let's go today and probably just randomly go and eat something outside, try something new. So the more you do all these stuff, the dopamine is automatically going to be released in the brain, and you're going to get another form of, your brain is going to feel happier. Okay? So next important chemical is serotonin. Yeah. So how does one release serotonin in a relationship? Okay, the best form of releasing serotonin in a relationship is by being useful to each other. So being useful, meaning, like, suppose your wife is like busy in the kitchen and she's doing something, and you can just go there and probably help her, like maybe doing the dishes, or maybe like as she's cooking, you can just talk to her and you can say, I just want to, we need some help, maybe cut the vegetables for you. So things like that, or maybe she's going in the morning and you find that her bike is not starting or something, you can just be there. Instead of, because most people today, that we live in this age of e-commerce and where everything is available at the click of a button, man's purpose of being useful to the partner is slowly decreasing. But so you can actually tell your wife that, hey, why don't you get an Uber? And yeah, she can get an Uber, but you can just be a little bit more useful and say, like, okay, I'm going there and I'll probably drop you on the way, and from there you can probably walk around and maybe get a bus or a taxi. So in that way, like, you're slowly being there for each other, helping her out. Instead of telling her that, please, I'll order things on Amazon, order things on Big Basket or any of those sites, you can actually say that, okay, I'll just buy these things on the way. So the more you're being useful to each other, the more serotonin you are going to get. So you just need to see how you can help each other and see what your partner is lacking. Suppose your husband is like in need of some small support at work, like he's working on a project and he needs to do a presentation, and you can probably say, like, okay, see, if you've just finished the presentation, the final touches, I'll do it, right? Because those final touches also take a lot of time. It's like those last the final 10% of the presentation and the formatting actually takes a hell of a lot of time. So all those little things where you're actually being useful to your partner, and your partner feels like, yeah, okay, good, thank you, very, 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 where they both feel like a sense of gratitude. So those are the situations that release serotonin, and these are very, very important for feeling very happy in a relationship. Another way of releasing serotonin is, like, you both of them decide to have a social life. You both need to have a tribe, a set of friends and family and relatives and all that, where you hang out together and just spend time, just talk and have fun and do things together. So if you don't have social life, please, guys, it's very important. Please go get there, sign up for some meetups, find new people, find some like-minded people, so that you could group together and you can spend some more time. So one of the best ways is, like, if you have kids, like, you can just go and partner, like, you can just ask your fellow parents of the children at your children's school to join you in some activity. You can just call them home for lunch or dinner. Just create some bonds of friendship, which is very important to feel serotonin, because we are social animals and we need to get that social approval, and there is a need. Another way which you can keep releasing serotonin is by feeling grateful and practicing gratitude. This is, like, very important, because I find, like, most couples who fight all the time is because they are just lacking the feeling of gratitude, because they're always constantly thinking about the things they don't have. They are like, you're not spending time with me, and the husband's like, you don't let me talk, you don't do this, you don't do this for me, I don't do this for you. And there's this constant thing about, like, what's not there, right? And both of them are, like, just thinking about, like, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, and there is this huge conflict that just keeps growing and eventually breaks out, and that creates a very unsafe environment for your children. So the first thing is, like, you can just start off with this very gratitude exercise every morning, and you can just say that, what am I grateful in life, and what are the things that I think my partner is doing for me. So you just think about those little things. Maybe he's not spending time with you, but maybe he's doing a lot of other things, like maybe he's working for the family, he's providing for the family, he's taking you out, he's buying you shopping, he's providing for the children, he's doing so many things. Similarly, when people constantly, complain about their wives, they really forget that the wives are actually doing a hell of a lot of things. They're taking care of the children, they're making sure they're concerning about your health, they're making sure you eat the right food and all that. They're also constantly doing something. But eventually what our human mind does is we just simply focus on the things we don't have and what the other person is not doing, and we just hit on them, and that just creates a huge sense of conflict between couples. So the one simple thing actually which I want everybody to follow is practice gratitude every day. See that what are you grateful for in life. See and thank you for whatever you have before you sleep or the first thing in the morning. That's like the best time. So you couples can just start off like, I'm thankful for my wife. You can just be thankful for every little thing, like from the coffee she gives you, or to some even advice she tells you, or even the little scolding she gives you because she cares for you, right? So just be grateful for all that, because I think that having a partner and being in a relationship and having children is like one of the greatest blessings, and people don't really understand that, and I think that's like very important. So that is serotonin. So finally is oxytocin, right? So oxytocin is released when there is finally, when you have everything and you feel loved. So when you feel like the other person is there to love you, when he really cares for you. So but the problem is, like, for feeling loved, each people have different strategies, right? Like there is something each person wants to be appreciated for. They have like different ways to feel loved. Like for some people it can be like gifts, or some people it can be like by just praising them, or like really doing acts of service for them and different things like that. So finally oxytocin. So how do couples generate oxytocin? So oxytocin is just by making sure that you accept your partner and you decide to love them unconditionally. So irrespective of your fights and everything, so make sure that love is there. Don't make your love conditional. Don't make that if you do this, only then I'm going to love you. If you don't do this, I'm not going to be loving to you. So oxytocin comes from that kind of a mindset, right? That no matter what, you're not going to deprive your partner of love. So you're just going to be loving and affectionate to them. Whenever you fight, but immediately you throw your egos apart and you decide to be kind and loving to each other. And one of the best ways, different ways of expressing love, but it's also important that how you need to find the best way your partner feels loved. Suppose your partner is like extremely loves cricket, right? It's like and it's very important, if you're going to watch cricket with him, he's definitely going to feel loved. Instead of complaining that what a game is this, stupid this, blah blah blah, I want to watch my serial or something like that, or something like. And even for men, like women feel that there is something which makes them feel loved. You need to figure that out, that what exactly makes them feel loved. It can be anything. It can be like helping them out in the kitchen, or maybe giving them gifts, or just appreciating them for whatever they are and whatever they're doing and being grateful. So that also makes a lot of people feel loved. So you need to create that feeling and just be unconditionally loving to your partner, irrespective of whatever. You cannot say, I will only love if you do this. No, that's wrong. That doesn't work that way. And finally is like physical touch. So yeah, be very touchy with your partner, hold their hands, watch a movie, hug them. Be very have physical intimacy. It's very important for relationships, because physical intimacy is like sort of, it gives everything. Like it releases dopamine, it releases endorphins, serotonin, oxytocin. So yeah, it's very important, but it just doesn't happen, right? You need to feel that connection before you have physical intimacy. So make sure you're always very touchy with your partner. Make sure you hold hands with them, even in public, because it's very important, because they need to know, your partners need to know that they're safe, that they're loved, irrespective of anything, right? So it doesn't matter if people are watching, who cares? Like, it's your wife, you need to hold their hands. So just please understand that it's very important to express love. So this is like the first part of preparing the field. And because I want to understand that it all happens in the brain, and how you can find out your own ways to release these chemicals, right? Okay, so this is like the inner part of preparing the field. So what are the outer parts? The outer game of preparing the field is in my next video, where I'm going to just teach you like how to evaluate your current marriage, and see where you're standing, and then we will see which all places you're lacking, and then we'll work on that. Okay, so yeah, thanks for watching. Welcome to our parenting mistakes series, and have a good day.
நம்பர் போடுங்க ஃபோனில்.
என்ன சொல்லுவோம்?
என் ஃபோன் காலி இல்லை. ஒரு ஃபோன் 97894 62403.
அவரோட ஹிஸ்ட்ரி நம்பர்
97894 62403.
So yeah, so this is like the first. So yeah, this is about preparing the field for couples, and let's start with. I'll explain how we start with the preparation of the field. So first thing is that we need to understand that end of the day we are all doing everything is to keep our brains happy and feeling fulfilled, and make sure that we get all these happiness chemicals released in our brain. So once we release them, we are obviously going to, that's like the best possible way to prepare the field, to create a field of happiness and love. So let's start with like how I'm going to explain the different happiness chemicals. I've also another video on the happiness chemicals, but again I'm going to explain how we can create all these happiness chemicals in our marriage, and how and what we need to do to release those happiness chemicals. So yeah, so the first one is endorphins. So endorphins is generally released when you're laughing and you're having fun together, and smiling a lot, watching a show, laughing, or you're cracking a joke, having good sense of humor between couples. So that is one way you can release endorphins. The second way is doing some physical activity. So I would recommend all couples to slowly join the gym or some common physical activity which you both can do together. And it's important that you decide on a physical activity which is common for you both, and not like you can never say that this is my favorite and this is your favorite. Marriage is about a little bit of compromise, and you need to realize that okay, let's choose the second best for both of us, and like okay, maybe we can just go in the park and have a small walk, or do some running together. So something like that, or maybe play badminton, where it's also a women friendly sport for a lot of guys who think like they just like to play cricket and stuff like that. Yeah, so first step is endorphins. Now since we are all going, it's important for us to maintain our physical health. It's also important for couples to understand that physical health is very important, because tomorrow if you're going to take care of your child and you're running around here and there, and you need that physical energy. So for that, first thing is that we need to focus on endorphins, and for releasing endorphins, you are together going to do physical activity and find some way to laugh together. So first step is now you just have to evaluate yourselves, guys, that where are we standing in terms of our endorphins levels. Like, are we having enough physical activity? Are we laughing together? What can we do so that we can laugh together? Do we just sit down sometime and just decide to watch a sitcom or some stand-up comedy show so that we can release these endorphins levels, right? So yeah, the first thing is endorphins. The second point here is about dopamine. So dopamine is a very nice happy chemical which releases during when couples are sort of when there's a praise, when you compliment your wife or your husband, when there's a sense of admiration between both of them, that's when dopamine is released. The second way of dopamine to be released is that both of you have common goals and you try to achieve them, right? So normally people have separate ways of getting dopamine. Like probably your husband has a job at work, he loves to do that. So every time he achieves those tasks at work, he gets a sense of joy by completing those tasks. That's because that feeling of happiness he gets by getting a promotion and doing well at work is because his brain is releasing dopamine. And the same thing, guys, with women also, because sometimes women are feeling less appreciated these days, because at home they do a lot of stuff, they cook, they do all that, but